Hello, today I'd like to discuss sex and standards. For many on the left, sex is something that you can't really make judgment calls on outside of telling people to wear protection. To them, sex is something that should be enjoyable as a recreational pastime. In or out of marriage doesn't matter. With whom should not matter. The only standard should be that it should be consensual. The only thing that offends them morally in the sexual world is not using protection and rape or anything that is non-consensual sex. Now, conservatives have higher standards than that. And these higher standards are such that the ideal, the standard itself, is perfection. Perfection being that you have a committed relationship with the person you're having sex with, as in a marriage. And you don't need to use protection at that point in time because there is no risk of of getting a disease via a third party. You're not going to get AIDS. If everyone was monogamous and only had sex in marriage, you wouldn't have any AIDS problem. AIDS would not exist. You would not have any sexually transmitted diseases because they just simply would not exist if people lived up to that standard. Now, for a liberal, when they see a conservative stray off of that standard, they get all venomous and they attack and they try to destroy the person and destroy that standard itself because someone strayed from it, who used to be an advocate for it or who is an advocate for it. Now, the problem with that argument is that if someone failing to meet a standard doesn't mean that the standard itself is wrong. It simply means that the standard itself is a high standard to achieve. And that does not mean shooting for that standard is a bad thing. Now, a lot of times in the discussion on the issue of sex, they'll go into, well, they're going to do it anyways and selling it to the lowest common denominator. In other words, people are going to have affairs anyways. People are going to have sex out of wedlock anyways. Children are going to have sex anyways. Therefore, we should teach them how to do it safely and teach them how to have sex safely and people have affairs safely. And the focus to them is the safety of it, not the moral failing of it. And in the process of doing that, they essentially legitimize the activity. It's okay because, well, everyone does it. Well, no, not everyone does it. Only most people grow out of that and go into stable relationships. It's hard to live to a high standard. But failure to live to a high standard does not negate the value of the standard itself. Let me repeat that. Failure to live up to a standard does not negate the value of the standard itself. For example, in liberal communities and amongst the liberal population, having a college degree is a sign of success. Having a high-paying job is a sign of success. Many don't live up to that standard. Does that mean that you should no longer seek to have high-paying jobs? Everyone's going to be a low-paid individual. Therefore, the standard of getting a high education and getting a good job doesn't count anymore because people have failed to succeed in that? No, of course not. Same issue is true of sex. Again, failure to reach the standard does not negate the standard itself. Thank you very much and have a good day.